As per usual, I did not read the synopsis of this movie before watching. I did watch the trailer, but I didn't remember anything that happened in it by the time I was ready to watch the movie, so I was essentially going in blind, and I loved every minute of it. The movie had this mysterious atmosphere. I can't really explain it though. You can feel the tension in almost every scene, especially in the first half. Any scene with Justine felt like something was gonna happen, and I just love that the movie was able to keep that same sense of dread throughout its runtime. It's one thing for adults to go missing, but there's just something about children going missing that's just so disturbing and terrifying. With that being said, the movie doesn't lean into the terrible stuff that is normally connected to missing children. It keeps the focus on Justine and that she took the children, not what she potentially can do to them. The mystery aspect of this movie was mostly focused on in Justine and Archer's POVs, but mostly Archer's, and it didn't take up the majority of the movie. The movie was suspenseful, chilling, and very engaging. The pace of the movie started off slow, and as the movie progressed, the pace sped up, but at the same time, the movie wasn't rushed. There weren't any scenes that lasted too long or felt unnecessary. Everyone embodied the role they were given, which brought a sense of believability. It's honestly been a while since I've watched a movie with different POVs. The writers and the director did a really good job tying everyone's POVs together seamlessly. And I like how each POV doesn't redo scenes we already saw from another character's POV. All the actors gave really good performances. The lead actress, Julia Gardner, who plays Justine, demanded my attention. She was great in this role, and she delivered every single line very well. So, all the students that went missing are in Justine's class. So, naturally, all the parents are at her throat thinking that she did something to them. And you can't help but feel conflicted with this because Justine had no part in their disappearance. But then again, you can understand the rage of the parents. But then again, they shouldn't be blaming her and treating her like that. But then their children were missing, so watching Justine having to take all of this on really tugs at the heart, and you just feel sorry for her. And I was low-key thinking that Gladys targeted her set of kids on purpose so that everyone would be too busy focusing on her so that they wouldn't, suspect her or Alex. With all the merits this movie has, what stood out to me the most was the villain, Gladys. I love a good villain. I believe villains can either make or break a film, and this one made it. I initially thought that this was something like It, but as the story progressed, I later abandoned that theory. Gladys wasn't just charismatic and threatening, she was believable, which overjoys me. Every scene she's in is good, whether she's threatening, talking, or doing her magic thing with the stick. Speaking of the magic thing, as soon as I saw it, I immediately leaned forward. My mind was cooking up all kinds of theories. Like from what I saw, I assumed it was something like a voodoo doll. Gladys is suffering from an illness and requires people to stay alive. She had Alex take things that belonged to his classmates so that she could control them. She kept the kids in the basement where Alex had to keep them fed on soup as they stand there in a trance like state, like almost lifeless. By using a small black tree, which obviously has ties to black magic, she is able to control her victims and feed off their life force to keep herself sustained. I would have loved to see more of Gladys and her little tree, to get the full scope of what she is and isn't capable of. Well, what the tree is and isn't capable of. I find the tree to be very intriguing, and my brain cannot stop cooking up theories. I need to know the rules of this thing and the cost of this kind of power. The movie left out quite a lot of stuff pertaining to the tree, magic, and the salt, but I like that by watching her, you can put two and two together to get a feel for how the tree works. My favorite POV has to be Archer. Watching him try to deal with the loss of his daughter and trying to find her was so engaging. He was able to keep a somewhat level head and realize that something weird was going on, and using the camera footage to track his daughter was a smart plan. but would ultimately lead him in a dead end if Justine wasn't there to point him in the right direction, which was Alex's house. The ending of the movie is naturally where all the tension and dread pays off. Justine and Archer go to Alex's house and fight off James and Paul. Alex tries to escape from his parents who are trying to kill him. Justine kills James and Paul. Archer finds the kids but gets mind controlled by Gladys and is sent to kill Justine. Alex locks himself in the bathroom and was able to get one of the tree sticks and Gladys's wig, so while his parents are trying to break in, he pricked his finger, rubs his blood all over it, and wrapped the hair around it, then break it. And Gladys sensed it and ran out, and all the children chased after her. The scene where the kids are chasing Gladys was unsettling and fantastic. And when they caught up to her, they literally pulled her apart, releasing Archer and Alex's parents from her control. And even though the spell or whatever was broken, everyone who was under the influence of the stick weren't left unscathed, except for Archer, which is most likely because he wasn't under the influence for very long. Most of the criticisms I've seen for the movie is that it was incoherent and tonally inconsistent, which I disagree with. The movie kept the same mysterious and thriller vibe for a majority of its runtime. The tone would shift, yes, when we were following James, who was high and goofy, and the tone went back to normal right after. I don't think having humor in a thriller makes it bad. It's more about the way you use it and how you use it. Humor that's in service to the characters rather than the audience is what I prefer. This is mostly used to cut tension so things aren't too tense for the characters. The movie was not incoherent. All POVs led into one another and allowed us to fully experience everyone's thoughts and emotions without it feeling like too much. Another criticism was that the movie wasn't scary, and I can kinda agree with that. In my opinion, the movie itself was more creepy and unsettling. As I said before, the idea or concept of missing children is terrifying, so the fact that this was attached to the movie adds to its horror factor a lot. The setting being a small town also contributed to the eerie and dread a lot as well. It's safe to say I like the movie. It didn't try to bite off more than it can chew. It set out to tell a good, hauntingly entertaining story, and it did just that. I think Weapons is a really good movie that's worth your time. You got magic, a good villain, a good cast of characters, and a little gore, all wrapped in one well-paced movie. What would make it even better is if there was a prequel that fleshes out the tree and or Gladys, but we'll see.